Hi, I'm Dreadware. I'm here with Mara Williams, and I'll attempt an intro. Keep me honest. DEF CON artist, illustrator, painter, muralist, and I self-describe creator of vaguely cat-shaped creatures.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Cool. How's it been working with DEF CON the past few years?
It's been great. It's been a lot of years. I started, my first art submission was DEF CON 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so then bits of art here and there, and then eventually like full blown, I'm just doing most of the visuals around that you see around. So yeah. Not the video stuff. The Zebler, I don't want to take Zebler's credit.
Well, it looks awesome this year. And so speaking of, there's a particular theme, it looks like, this year. And can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the theme title is Access Granted. I chose colors that were in this accessible scheme that's already like, it already existed before I came along, and I can't recall the name of it right now, but if you look at DEFCON.org, we link to it, and it's really cool. And it's just like, it helps with red-green color blindness. And then other types of color blindness. The colors are like far enough apart. So you can kind of see some of that, but it's really more relates to like web use. But we wanted people to be aware of that, so we put that out there. And then we're going to make like the website and everything going forward, adhere to this accessibility standard. So as far as visually the theme, it's kind of like. There's a lot of influence from decorative art, because I thought with the badges, like this sort of counts as decorative art because it's on an object. There's a whole lot of places that you can pull from for that. Some of it is sort of Victorian style, but I didn't want to be Eurocentric, so there's other elements as well that are a little bit more global. Yeah.
That's super cool. And then I also read just something about like the idea behind part of it, something having to do with like maybe sunshine or being outside.
It takes like a whole year to get going and do this stuff, but early on we were talking about like allowing the light to come in. And so this first image that I did, that's the guy with the fox, and then you're in this big like glassed-in Victorian, greenhouse, and allowing the light in, so access to people, access to information, and
That was super cool. I also think I read something about building from the ruins of like the most,
the sturdiest of ruins.
The sturdiest of ruins. Yeah, I really like that.
So I have a little bit of that visual in the art, there's so much, out there, like open source tech that's, we've built upon, that's like, it's great, stable foundations for building new things, and there's sort of this idea of like, in that like building on the sturdiest of ruins, I think Darrington was talking about, if you look around, like, there's these sort of fast cash buildings that are built, and they crumble, and they're sort of whatever. But then you have these older structures that are still standing. So a lot of that visual comes from that. And hopefully, I just didn't talk myself in too many circles there.
No, that's completely on the money. That's awesome.
And then there's animals in the art everywhere because I wanted to show this idea of like creating something new and like something we haven't seen before. Based on all this stuff, so it's not like the same kind of hacker imagery that we see over here. And there's nothing wrong with that style, but I wanted to bring like something new and fresh into it.
So, are you by chance the artist behind this?
Yeah.
So it almost like reminds me. I don't know if you can see it. Well, maybe we'll do a close up or something. But that's cool to be wearing it around all conference, and it almost like feels like solar punk, like.
A little solar punk influence for sure. Yeah.
That's cool. And
this is actually the Goldbug. It's like a Poe story that hackers are into that's like got a crypto element to it.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Looks like I got some reading to do. So you said this is a non-electronic here, and this badge is awesome. I like the incorporation of like the light and sunshine and everything. I was just going back a couple years. last year it was an electronic badge, and it seemed like a lot of moving parts to that.
Yeah.
How is that process like from start to delivery?
It's a massive process. Last year's especially, just because there's a lot of people involved, because you have like different teams that need to do different parts of it, and so that was kind of that was the big thing there. Not as many people this year, but there's still like Bonnie Finley did like the 3D design, so then she would translate like my drawings into 3D, and then we had a lot of back and forth, and then there's tons of prototyping on a 3D printer, and then we have to set it up for manufacturing, which is a different process because you got your 3D, but then you have to make sure that like when they shoot the plastic into the mold, like it's actually going to hit everything right. There's not going to be warping, you know. So there's a lot of that, and then you've got a year to do all that and test it.
Wow. So since DEF CON 17, it seems like there's definitely been a lot of scale up. What advice would you give to some artists out there who are looking to scale up and maybe do something at this amazing conference level where there isn't a place we can go and not see some of your art here?
My advice would be, at this scale, 28,000 of anything is going to be hard to get, and especially in like a short timeline. So when you get to that point, you know, when you're doing like a hobbyist electronics project or whatever, like you can do small runs and not go crazy. And you know, before, I don't remember what year it is, a million years ago, I started out by making 303 badges just with my local group, right?
Cool.
And just doing that, just like I was pouring resin for a badge, right? And that was 70 badges. And that was crazy to do by hand. And then you hit the scale of like, okay, now you can get them run by somebody else, but then you have more scale problems the more you get, and then like what the factories can actually get in time. Like just the screws, we had some issues with the screws on this. It was supposed to be a rivet originally, and then that's why we're having issues with them coming off, because we had to switch to a screw because they just couldn't find that in that amount of time, right? So, yeah.
You're dealing with the bounds of reality, it seems.
Yes, bounds of reality is the way to put it.
Well, I guess when you're not part of these like large scale plannings, which I'm not sure when that would be at this point, but how do you recharge and kind of draw inspiration? And what do you draw inspiration from?
For this one, I mean, the natural world is a huge inspiration for me. Like when I'm not doing this, I am in my backyard in my garden and like totally being a Luddite. So
Cool.
Yeah.
That is a nice way to spend time. That's like some balance between the like the technical world and then actually like being out in the sunshine and I guess
Yeah, I have to get back home because my sunflowers are blooming right now.
Yeah.
I'm missing that.
hands on a garden, definitely therapeutic. So yeah, I mean, what out of those many years, like has there been there has to be so many memorable moments, but can you think of one that's kind of like stands out?
That's the most memorable moment. Geez, that's tough. There's a lot, and I don't even know if it would be like something that I'm working on or just like seeing people come down the hallway like, you know, dressed as something crazy or, you know, like I think the moments where there's just people who are working on some kind of crazy project and you see them in full force doing their thing and like that's exciting. I don't even need to know what they're doing, but it's rad that they are.
That's a great description. Yeah, it's just kind of being in the presence of the chaos around here, which is awesome. So, well, thank you so much for talking to us.
Yeah.
Where can people find your art then, when they're not at DEF CON?
You can find my art, marwilliams.art, or if you look on the back of my back of the badge here, spucks.art, or you can find me on Patreon /spucks.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for everything you do.